And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. Rat of a Red Baron here, joined by
The Masquerade Massey.
Bingo Bango Bongo.
The dynamic duo at it again.
It's funny. We say that so many times, and it just like it's like so lame, but I love it so much.
I mean, it is at this point.
The Riddler to join us later. We don't believe Maksheen and the potential from the Man of Many Names, but to be determined. We're here and to entertain y'all.
That's what we're here for.
So without further ado, let's get into it.
What are you drinking tonight?
I'm continuing on with my Bell's IPA variety pack. I have grabbed here the Cold Hearted IPA, 7% ABV. I don't know if it's like a type of IPA or just a namesake. Like, I don't know if like I've never heard of a cold IPA. Like,
Right.
I think it's just a name. Because the other one, the original is the Two Hearted IPA. So I'm curious to see what the difference is going to be with like zero explanation on the can. So
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious to hear your response to that because that's kind of curious.
I'm going to be really annoyed if this is like 4 of the same beer. I'm I'm having a feeling that that's what I'm up against.
It very well might be. That's actually pretty funny. I am currently drinking a Paloma,
Uh-huh.
and don't know what I'm going to tap into next. But I'm sipping on a couple of these that I made a picture of. Well, I shouldn't say a picture. I made like a large cup of it.
And you just pour it out.
Yeah.
What were your ingredients?
For the Paloma,
Yeah.
I had a grapefruit seltzer. I had a couple grapefruit seltzers. Took a squeeze of lime to go in it. Obviously, I have from the Riddler collection, Casamigos,
Mm-hmm.
and some salt. That's it.
Very nice. Good refreshing summertime bev.
Yeah, it really hits. I'm not usually a huge fan of grapefruit juice, but with the lime, like kind of balancing it out a little bit, it works.
Yeah. I'd like to dive into more cocktail making. It just, a lot of times it's like, one, if like Charlotte is sleeping, I don't want to make too much noise. So
Right.
that's part of it. But I can be pretty quiet, and I also don't have to make drinks that are that involved. But I tend to not. Like, I mean, I'll drink my scotches on a Saturday night, but that's like the extent of my like liquor drinking. I'd like to kind of get back into doing more involved things. I just haven't.
Yeah. I
'Cause
mean, I enjoy it, but I don't have a lot of the ingredients in my house to be doing it. So usually, if I'm gonna like tap into one, I have to know beforehand, and I'll go out and get the ingredients to do it.
right.
But I enjoy doing it.
Like I love the ready to drink cocktails. All brands. I think they do a pretty good job. But it's just like it's so much more expensive. And
Right.
there's a few places that actually like they'll do like handles, if you will, or 1.75s, like our friends at Litchfield Distillery. They've made a few like RTD, cocktails in 1.75 liter bottles, and yeah, that's great and all, but it's definitely
It's not the
cheaper,
same.
right? It's cheaper to just buy the ingredients and make them yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, it tastes a lot different when you like
well,
do
I think the human component definitely means something because
Yeah.
you're not going to make a drink the same way I'm going to make a drink,
Right.
and it's preference. So
absolutely.
but we shall see. Maybe.
Good.
I'll say we'll see. Maybe I'll pick some stuff up on my next trip to Total. I'm due for my summertime haul.
There you go. Maybe when we finally do that potluck with Makshi, we can do a cocktail station.
That would be awesome.
It would be pretty fun. We're turning a new mass on the block. Part 3.
Part 3, the bartender.
What do you got for Toast of Excellence tonight, Reader?
My toast, coming off this past weekend, the Mets and Phillies played in London. Only 2 games. I feel like they could have definitely played 3 games, and I think they should have. Just if you were going to bother making the trip out, should have made Saturday the doubleheader day. Could have done a game at 10:30, and then you could have done like a nighttime game, and then your Sunday game could have been the noon game. To me, that makes total sense. They ended up only playing 2 games, split the series. Phillies won game 1, Mets won game 2 in sort of dramatic fashion. But leading up to those games, a lot of publicity, a lot of media stuff, and one thing they did was Daniel Murphy went head-to-head against Chase Utley, and they had a home run derby. I think they were just hitting against the net, but Daniel Murphy bested Chase Utley, so the Mets got a meaningless victory. So just bragging rights for 2 sort of postseason heroes to their respective teams. So it was fun.
I mean, it's nice to be able to see like those games over there, but I feel like we were talking with Riddler about this this weekend. They do a pretty awful job marketing it over there. Do you remember who he said was over the advertisements for the Mets?
Yeah. So one of the pitchers for the Mets was is it Jeremy Reed? I think his name was, who didn't have a terribly long stint with the team. And
isn't he with the team anymore?
Oh, go ahead, Mass.
Isn't even with the team anymore, right?
No, and the only thing I can think of is unless he has some ties to London, it's a totally arbitrary player that they picked. You know, I don't know. I didn't really bother to do any more research about it, just because like after seeing what everyone was talking about, I was like, all right, this seems like a whiff. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's possible they did their homework and this guy actually means something. But like when I heard the name, I wasn't even like sure at first. Like I don't know who this is. And then like looking back, it was like a guy who pitched 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for listeners at home, you probably know I'm chronically online. That is an understatement. But for as much time as I spend like over like, I don't want to say sports radio, but like sports networks and stuff like that, just like reading articles and shit like that. Until you told me on Saturday, I didn't even know there was a series in London.
Yeah, and like for me, this is very much on the list of things that really don't matter. Like baseball doesn't need to market itself to other countries. It just doesn't. And in general, like for MLB, it's America's thing, you know, like
Right.
Like there's not
America's
a
pastime.
right, like that is never more true than it is now, and like sure it's fun, but like I'm sure United Kingdom has their own baseball leagues of some capacity. They're probably not popular, and there's a reason for it. There's just a lot of other things that they would rather do, watch, or whatever. I don't know why we need, and I think they're going to do more of these. I think there's projected more games this season to be across the pond. I just, to me, it's a waste of time.
I feel like they're marketing to the wrong countries.
Yeah, I mean,
Go play this in like South America, and man, oh man.
Like, I would rather have an exhibition in the sense
Yes.
that, like, during the off season or during spring training, you can devote a whole section of spring training just to go play in different countries. Play, some teams from Japan. Go play some teams down in the Dominican Republic. There's greater opportunities than, all right, let's have your teams get on a plane for a series in June, and then I don't know. To me,
No, I get
this was not like a worthwhile experience. Like for a fan, maybe to the players it meant something more because they got to go play for a different crowd. But to me, who is I consider myself a slightly above average fan, I was not impressed or excited for it. I was very.
And it was your team.
Yeah, and over the weekend, because of the timing, we both of us, we had a fairly busy weekend. I caught like an inning and a half of it. Kyle spent the time watching it during that party, but like I mean, I'd rather just socialize. Like I went
Yeah.
than I don't know, just my feelings on it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, as fun of a series as it was, I think, like you said, just probably not in their best interest to try and continue in that specific direction.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Hello,
Hello.
Paul.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Well, we said hello to you. You were responding to us.
I responded,
Yeah.
but then no one answered, so that's why I was like, "Oh, can you hear me?"
We were just wrapping up my take on the Mets Phillies London series.
Yeah, it kind of like it baffles me that they're not just like like that they're playing games in London and not Asia.
Yeah.
Like, go do games in the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and
Thank you.
Korea and Japan and China. Like, baseball's not a European sport.
Yeah, it's just totally arbitrary, and we were laughing about the the player they put on for the Mets on the posters. Yep. And it's stupid, waste of time.
You're a waste of time.
Are you?
Ouch.
Welcome, Massey. You're an appropriate amount of time.
Oh, thanks.
Anytime.
Paul,
Anytime.
what are you drinking?
I have Guinness tonight.
Oh, nice.
I got Guinness from the package store down the street, the only package store I've ever been to that sells 6 packs of Guinness.
I mean, my package sure says 6-pack Guinness.
Really? I've never seen 6-pack cans of Guinness.
And the little plastic, like, turtleneck wrappings or whatever they are.
That's a very that's an uncommon thing.
Is it? Oh, all right.
Yeah, because they come in 4-packs.
Well, today I learned.
Who's what the guys
I mean-
who buy 18s and break them up?
Right, but still, like they put them into 6s because you get 3 6s out of 18. But like Guinness comes in 4s, so it's like it's just like it'd be like if you took 12 packs of fucking Budweiser 12-ounce cans and broke them up into 4-packs.
That'd be ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. It's stupid.
My toast of excellence is to veteran tight end Mercedes Lewis. Resigned with the Bears for a record 19th season for a tight end.
Yes, take that, Kendall.
I'm pretty impressed. I didn't realize it was 19.
Been around for a while.
Yeah, he's been around for a bit.
Just a bit.
If he was French fries, he'd be known as seasoned.
Hilarious.
Thanks, man. I'm here all day.
Just for a couple more hours.
No, all day.
All right.
Kendall, did you do your toast?
I did. I was to Daniel Murphy beating Chase Utley in the that London home run derby they had prior to the games.
I'm sending a picture in the main chat for ours. Mine is to Jason Worth and his horse Dornock for winning the 2024 Belmont Stakes.
What a great picture. He looks like Kid Rock.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
So he said that winning the Belmont Stakes was just as exciting as winning the World Series.
I mean, hey, if you've done it, both of them, I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
I hate him though.
So you don't hate him, you love him.
I do like this ridiculous getup he's got going on though. I could root for this.
So root for it.
In time.
All right, that's fair. Oh man, my eyeball itches.
You should probably scratch it.
Kendall, you want to see it?
I don't, but I'll take your word for it.
Mm.
Good old cornea scratch. What's your technique
Really
when
good
you're
at
itching the eye?
Huh?
What's your technique itching the eye? You're a knuckle guy or fingertip? Or finger pad, whatever it is.
What, like when you have like the itch in the corner of your eye?
Yeah.
You actually don't want to know.
All right. If it was going
He
to be
spreads his eye open and grabs like a zester and just goes to town.
Esther.
No, so what I usually do is like, so take the back of your thumb, right? And like from the knuckle to the tip of your thumb,
right.
The back part of it though, I put that on my eye so that the tip of my thumb is in the corner. And then I kind of wedge the tip of my thumb in as I rotate my thumb out. So I'm like stabbing myself in the eye. And then I shove the nail in there.
All right.
And then I just like kind of rock the nail back and forth to itch it.
This was just my fault.
I rock my nail back and forth. I rock my nail back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. Massey, biggest hit of 2017.
Here we go.
So yeah, there's my toast.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Trivia question for you guys. You ready?
Shoot.
Yep.
All right. No strikes. You just have to guess. You have to guess three. You're either right or you're wrong.
Okay.
So
we're doing this together?
Yeah, you and Kendall can do it together if you want. Okay. There are 3 players in NBA history that have recorded at least 3 triple doubles in their career in the finals. Can you name them?
I have to imagine LeBron's one.
I won't say yes or no. Like you have to pick 3 people and go. So you and Kendall converse about it.
All right. I think LeBron is a fair guess.
And just for a quick recap, even though it should be pretty obvious, but a triple-double is reaching double figures in the statistical category of 3 of the following 5 categories: points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. You do not have... Fun fact, though, it was a lot of people don't know this because for some reason, and I don't know why they wouldn't think it, but I think just because points is obviously the most common statistical category, but you can get triple doubles without points.
Yeah, that's happened before too, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's happened plenty of times.
You said they had to have how many triple doubles in the finals?
At least 3. There's only 3 people in NBA history that have recorded 3 or more.
And we have to guess how many?
All 3.
Yeah.
So it's like you say LeBron, and it's like immediately I wanted to say Michael Jordan, but the thing is I don't know enough about him to be like, oh, maybe he wasn't like a triple double guy. Like,
do you know a lot about LeBron?
No.
So just picture a better version of that.
But what I mean by that is like LeBron is just kind of like in my face.
I was kidding.
I'm not going to say that Jordan did.
I'm really digging into my eyeball with this nail right now.
Yeah, my fault.
Kendall, have you been a big fan of the Liv Morgan and Lana posts on vacation?
Yeah, it's been pretty neat to be able to kind of just scroll around and see that. Some scantily clad women.
Help your teammate, Kendall.
I know.
Can we get hints?
Would you rather have one strike or one hint?
I mean, you already told us you're not going to tell us if we're right or not. So.
Well, but I'm saying I'll give you a strike. Like, I can either give you like a strike, where like you say a name, I say yes or no, and then once I say no, it's over. I no longer you have to lock in your final answer.
No, give us a hint.
Or I can give you a hint about one of the players.
Give us a hint.
Okay. So So you said LeBron?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you want a hint for one of the three players. Okay.
That's obviously not LeBron.
Well, what if LeBron's wrong?
Would
Then
be
you're
a
not going to
bummer.
give us a hint for LeBron. But if it is LeBron, I don't want you giving us a hint for LeBron.
But what if the hint was that it wasn't LeBron?
Well, that would be a strike.
Nope, wouldn't be a strike because you didn't submit it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm just saying. No. All right. So a hint for one of the players is this player made their entire career off of playing for one of the two most winning franchises in NBA history.
So Larry Bird or Magic Johnson?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's Magic Johnson.
All right, so we'll put in Magic Johnson too. Who the fuck would the third one be?
Don't forget about Kareem.
Oh yeah.
But Kareem didn't spend his entire career there. Did he?
I don't know. You only get one hint.
I still think it's Magic.
I don't think Kareem spent his entire career there.
He didn't. He was a buck.
This third guy's gonna be somebody stupid. It's be like Robert Horry or something.
I will. It's a name you know, but obviously it's not right off the tip of your tongue immediate name, because then it would just be too easy. Like it's not like like LeBron, Magic, and Jordan. You know what I mean? Like that would just. What's the point of asking that question?
Right.
I think about like teams that have good representation.
Warriors, Heat, Spurs.
Oh man, what about Kobe?
I'm trying to think what he would have gotten the third stat in.
Yeah, maybe he's just primarily a scorer, so maybe that wouldn't necessarily be his forte.
Matt Forte. No, that's the answer.
Oh. Damn.
Man, part of me wants to say Jokic, but at the same time, I feel like that's too easy.
What about?
Probably wouldn't be Clay.
As far as like anybody on the Warriors, I feel like kind of had like their own thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't see anybody from that big 3/4 that would do it. Would a guy like
the other NBA players, I mean, aside from like the very obvious.
Would a guy
ones,
like a Tim Duncan
that's
or like a
I
Manu
don't know enough
Ginobili?
about the way he played defense to say yes or no.
I actually have a very interesting NBA Finals Tim Duncan story.
Okay.
I'll tell you after the thing though.
Okay.
I don't know, Massey. I'm kind of thinking Robert Horry here. I think he played like in 5 straight finals. I think he had to do it at some point.
Kendall, fine. Robert Horry is our third. Paul,
What?
there's your submission. Magic, LeBron, and Robert Horry.
It's not Robert Horry. The guy was a role player.
Did he play like in 5 championships though?
I think he's got like 7 rings or something like that.
Oh my god!
I think he's got more than Jordan
That's funny.
because he won. I think he was on the 3-peat with the Lakers.
Was he the 2 with the Rockets?
He won the 2 with the Rockets in the 90s. He won the 3 with the Lakers, and then he won in 05 and 07, I think, with the Spurs.
God, what a career!
Yeah, well, he had game-winning shots in like a lot of those. Like that's why he has the nickname Big Shot Bob.
Could it have been somebody like Shaq? I mean, I feel like that's too obvious, but
Did you know that Robert Horry was born in Hartford?
I did not know that.
Didn't you know who
Hartford,
Robert Horry
Maryland.
was before this conversation started?
That's funny. It's really hype it up. Hey, here's a city in Connecticut, but actually a different state.
All right. So, are the other two right then?
Yes.
Well, all right. Who was
Yes.
the third?
The third is Draymond Green.
Really?
Yeah, he's just kind of like that jack of all trades guy.
Huh. I never... No
So
shot we guessed it.
he gets a ton of it. He would get a ton of assists on throwing the ball to Steph Curry after he was done running through a bunch of screens.
Yeah.
And then Steph would jack up the three. And then he played the forward position, so he would get a lot of rebounds, and he only needed to get 10 points. He's actually the most recent guy to score a triple-double without points.
Huh.
He had he had like 10 assists, like 14 rebounds, he had like 14 assists, like 15 rebounds, and like 10 steals.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. The more you know.
More you know.
Ba-dum-bum.
Oh. Okay.
You said a Tim Duncan story?
Yeah, so Tim Duncan was robbed of the most dominant single game in NBA Finals history off of a person's judgment on what is or is not a block shot. Because much like in the MLB, how certain, even though there are rules, there are certain calls that are left up to the scorer for judgment in terms of earned runs and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So in 2003, I believe, I think that was the year that they played the Nets. I think. Yeah, they played the Nets in the finals. Tim Duncan put up a stat line of, what did he have? He had 21 points, 20 boards, 10 assists, and then he was credited with 8 blocks. But if you go back and watch the footage, and you talk to almost any single person in the world except for the guy who apparently was scoring that game, the other 2 block shots that he put as steals were blocks because they were in shooting motion.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim Duncan should have had the only ever NBA Finals quadruple double.
So that's why he didn't give it to him, because he didn't like Tim Duncan.
Maybe big fundamental.
Such a good nickname.
It is. Shaq has a good big nickname too, Big Aristotle. I like that a lot.
Didn't he give himself that nickname?
Shaq can do whatever he wants.
I mean, yes, Shaq.
The guy is just an icon.
He's a menace to society.
I enjoyed the interview where he was talking about the NBA being fixed.
Yeah.
he said he knew they were going to the finals.
That's very funny. But speaking of NBA Finals, we should probably talk about them.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. Dallas is tired.
Yes, they are.
They're just. This is kind of like. Did Dallas have a chance going into it? Of course they did. Do they still technically have a chance? Yeah, they do. Boston is known to throw up a clunker game once a series. Now, granted, you could argue that Game 2 was their clunker game. It's just Dallas is just out of sorts. But the problem is that Boston's just a better team. They have
They're
4
deeper.
superstars to Dallas's 2. So you have, which inevitably means you have 2 role players trying to match 2 superstars, and that doesn't work. Almost ever. You have arguably the best lockdown perimeter defender on your team if you're Boston. You have 2 elite scorers, although one of them's playing like dog shit. And the other thing, too, is just that outside of Kyrie Irving, nobody else on that squad really knows what it takes physically and mentally to play, a minimum of 16 extra games after the season's over.
Right.
And Dallas is playing a lot more than 16, and they're tired. Luka's beat up. He's hurt. He's playing through injury, which is not an excuse. Everybody does it. There's always some injured star player on any team at this point of any season of any sport. But it factors in. You're not getting 100% from Luka. Kyrie Irving is old. He's older now, so I'm sure he's slightly more gas than he would have been 8 years ago. And the Mavs just have a bunch of role players. If they can keep this unit together for 2 more years, it'll be a different story. But right now, Gafford and Likely are really good, but they're role players.
Yes.
And Tim Hardaway is not playing due to coaching decisions, and they have a bunch of guys that can do quick sparks, like what's his name, Derek Jones Jr. and all these other, Exum and all these other guys, but they can't do what the big four from.
Right. They're not going to carry their game. They're going to give you like a little jolt here and there, but they're not going to be able to sustain the entire game.
And it's just, Boston's just a better team, and Boston knows what it takes to play this far in 2 seasons. Now, albeit this core hasn't put it all together before, and this is the year they're hoping to do that, but they've made it to a lot of Eastern Conference Finals, and at this point, adrenaline kind of takes over. Luka's never played this far into the finals before, and you can see it. He's gassed. And
I don't want to call it championship experience, but they've been here before. They know what it's like to be in here and play this, and what toll it takes on you.
Right. It's not like football or baseball, the NBA. To me, it's not. I mean, I know, sportscasters like Michael Wilbon and Stephen A. Smith, who are diehard NBA guys their entire life, will say slightly differently than what I'm about to say. But, in basketball, because it's a 7-game series and there's swings, and the series doesn't really start until the first home game is lost in any NBA series or NHL series, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much the experience of playing in these games as it is just the conditioning of going this far. And it would be a different story if Luka was 100%. He would just be tired and he could rest. But it's hard to rest when you're trying to also nurse injuries. And he's got rib problems. He's got a bum knee right now.
Yep.
So it's, it is what it is. I mean, they can't knock Dallas out yet. They have 2 games to go at home. That both of them are probably must wins. They have to win a game in Boston if they want to win the whole thing.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Jason Kidd is a great head coach. He's done a very good job at getting inside of Jason Tatum's head defensively and making Jason Tatum play like garbage. Now the thing is Jason Tatum has to find ways for these role players, whether it be putting Tim Hardaway Jr. into the game for select minutes or picking and choosing certain guys to handle the ball, but they have to get the ball out of Luka's hands every possession because he's too gassed by the fourth quarter.
Yes.
He's dribbling around too much, and you saw it in Game 2. In Game 2, every shot he took that missed hit front iron.
Yeah, it was short every time. He was also getting sloppy with his passing.
So, I mean, I don't think it's any discredit to Jason Kidd. I do, unfortunately, have this gut feeling that if the Mavs lose this series, that Jason Kidd's going to go to the Lakers.
You think so?
I don't know. The Lakers were off. He was the first person the Lakers were looking at. And for somebody like Jason Kidd, it's hard to pass up the Lakers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the only reason I don't think he would is because I think he, he's gotten very close, and how unique is it to win a NBA championship ring as a coach and a player for the same team.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
In your guys' opinion too, is it like slightly perfect storm, just in the sense because Boston had a little bit more rest for wrapping up their series earlier?
No, I don't really think that has much to do with it, to be honest with you. Because, like I said, like the thing, like with Luka, like it's injury based. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Would he be a little bit better if he had time to rest the injuries and nurse them a little more? Of course, but he wouldn't be healed. I don't really foresee it being too much of a factor. Um, a big thing, like game one was having a fresh Kristaps Porzingis,
Mm-hmm.
and that situation was huge. And a lot of that was momentum of the crowd getting behind him being back after missing however many games he missed in the postseason. And then you saw that die off. Porzingis was pretty much a non-factor in game two.
And he got banged up again, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think he missed any time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
He's not going to miss any time. I mean, you saw the what was it? The second or third quarter of the first game, Luka had to sub himself out twice because he's just in pain, and it's hard. And one thing that is kind of tough for the Dallas Mavericks, is that the two stars they have are on-ball stars, which makes things tough. So that was part of the reason that the Warriors were able to have so much success for so long, was because even with the addition of KD, who is an on-ball star, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were off-ball stars. So they didn't need the ball in their hands to do their damage.
Right.
They could do damage with it, but they didn't need it. I mean, Klay Thompson has that game where he scored like 37 points on 12 dribbles.
That's still the highest scoring in like a quarter, isn't it? Or a half?
He owns the record for most points in a quarter and in a half, I believe.
Okay.
I think he dropped like 27 points in a quarter one time. I think it was against the Bulls, actually.
But
He was just lights out from three.
yeah.
Just want to slap that guy.
So,
But yeah,
I mean,
and then go ahead.
if Dallas can win game 3, it'll be interesting. But I mean, as of today, it's not much of a series.
This is actually the least watched finals since the bubble.
So the thing behind it is, so Dallas is a small market in terms of the NBA.
Yeah.
Which plays a role in it. There are still, a select amount of people that are very anti-Kyrie Irving in the world, which, plays a very small percentage, but a percentage nonetheless. And I think the other thing, too, is just that I think a lot of people just kind of wrote this off as like, the Celtics are just going to win this. This Celtics team is one of those teams where it's like, they've earned it. They deserve it. Their players, they were the best team all year.
Yep.
If they can sweep Dallas, their season total will be 80-20 on the season. 80 wins, including the postseason, and 20 losses. They've been the best team. They've been one of the best teams in the East for the past 5 years.
Yep.
They have a great, general manager, whatever, head of basketball operations, and Brad Stevens. They've got a great head coach. But the other thing too is just that it's boring. Boston doesn't, and I say this from the same point. Like I don't say this as a shot. I'm not a hater of the Boston Celtics and what they've done. Their team is very homegrown, and the acquisitions that they've made, while some of them have been splashes, they've been subtle splashes. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, they didn't go out and get a LeBron James. They didn't go out and get a Jimmy Butler. They went out and got, one man's trash and, made it their treasure. And they're a very homegrown organization, but they've just been in the mix for the past 5 years. And it's kind of boring. And, something else to be said, too, is this, to me, the brand of basketball that the Boston Celtics play, at least offensively, is a little mundane.
Yeah.
It's not quite old school fundamental basketball. It's not quite new school jack up 100 threes and flying down the lane dunks. Defensively, they're amazing and very fun to watch. But I just think the product they put on the television is a little stagnant, and truth be told, who gives a shit? If it wins championships, no one gives a fuck about that.
Right.
True.
You know, it's like the New England Patriots, really. I mean, the New England Patriots, like, their offenses weren't fucking sexy, star-studded offenses that, you know,
They
were doing things
first.
they weren't doing things we've never seen before. They were just methodical, and they pounded it into the ground, and then they lit you up when you when you showed a weakness, they exposed it.
How many no-name running backs were like a factor for all those years?
How many no, it's not even no-name running backs. It's no-name players.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, there are household receiver names, but outside of Randy Moss and Rob Gronkowski, everybody else on that team is a nobody. All those teams, they're all nobodies.
Hey, you watch your mouth about Super Bowl MVP, Julian Edelman.
But he's a nobody without the Patriots.
Yes.
He would have been a nobody on any other team.
He would have.
Danny Amendola had something to his name just because he was a Ram beforehand. Like, that's one thing the Patriots didn't really do a lot of outside of what maybe Amendola and Randy Moss was bring in somebody who had some cachet to their name prior to becoming a Patriot.
No, if anything, they shipped most of those people out.
Right, but like Wes Welker was nobody before and nobody after. I mean, his claim to fame before being a Patriot was fucking kicking extra points for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Deion Branch, nobody. Fucking, I mean, who's the other receiver?
Branch got traded for a first round pick, didn't he?
Well, it's funny. So they had a couple of guys that come in like past the prime. Like they had, you know, Chad Ochocinco for a hot minute.
No, but who was the other receiver in the early 2000s?
It was, oh my God, not Tim Brown.
Oh, Jim Brown.
Oh man, I'd have to look it up, but I think I know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna look it up. 2003 New England
Troy
Patriots.
Brown.
...2003 New England Patriots, rushing and receiving.
Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Tate. Campbell Tompkins. Brandon LaFell.
Got a lot of names.
Tim Dwight. Terry Glenn.
Troy Brown was their other big one, but there's somebody else I'm thinking about that had like really big games, like from here and there.
David
like he would
Patton.
just. Matthew, you're just naming receivers you're looking up right now?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because it's fucking with you.
No, it's not fucking with me.
Tony Simmons. Jabbar Gaffney.
Oh God.
Dante
Not true.
Stallworth.
I'm not
Sam
doing this
Aiken.
anymore.
Aaron Dobson. Hold on.
I'm
Troy
done
Brown.
playing. I'm done playing this game now.
I'm going to keep going. Though.
Listed a bunch of guys that I just don't care about.
David Patton.
David Givens, that's who it was.
David Givens.
Christian Fauria.
That guy's not real.
Daniel Graham.
That guy is though.
Ben Watson.
Ugh.
Kyle Brady.
He was a tight end.
David Thomas.
Wendy's.
Mike
So-
Monowui.
Speaking of the finals,
Yep.
we're talking about the NBA finals.
I was just getting to the NHL finals.
So the NHL finals is, I mean, the second game is underway. It's way too early to really make this comparison, but after the first game, it was kind of looking like it was going to go the same route. The exciting and like young face of the sport, Connor McDavid, Luka Doncic, like Cinderella story is probably going to get cut off just by facing the better team.
Yeah.
The Oilers are up 1-0 now, I think, at the end of the first period. That series is very interesting because that series almost feels like it needs to have an asterisk mark next to it.
What does that mean?
Because of the travel.
Oh, just up and down from Edmonton to Florida and vice versa?
Well, so they're giving them extra days off between games.
Have they ever done that before?
No, because Edmonton to where the Panthers play is like 38 or 3,200 miles.
That's an interesting point. Has this been the greatest distance for?
Yes.
Wow.
This is the greatest distance in American sports history for a finals matchup.
Huh.
And so they're giving, so they not only did they push the start back a little bit, but they're giving an extra day because normally, you know, hockey does the 2-3-2 method.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So normally you would just play, you know, Florida, Edmonton, Florida. But they're giving extra days off because, I mean, it takes fucking 6.5 hours to get to Edmonton from Florida by plane. And traditionally, not 6.5 hours, it's too long, but like, I think it's like 5.5. It's over 5 hours. It might be close to 6. Because it's almost 3 hours from Bradley to Orlando.
Where do the Panthers play?
I always forget.
They play in Sunrise.
Where is that near?
Death.
That is near Hollywood. Jupiter. It's all the way down in the southwest tip or southeast tip.
It's 5 hours and 38 minutes from Miami to Edmonton. So it's 5.5 hours. And when you take into consideration, normally the way that these series are played, you would play, like, let's say you played Thursday. You would play Thursday, you'd have Friday off, you'd play Saturday. And then you would have Sunday, Monday off, and then you would play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday again. You'd have 2 days off, 1 day for travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because traditionally what you would do is, let's say, you know, your Saturday game would end at 10:30 at night. Most teams would just go, they would just shower, everybody would shower, all that, and then they'd be on a private flight out at 1 a.m.
Right.
And then they would fly straight there and then rest up. But like, you figure if you're doing that, you're not landing in Edmonton until almost 7 a.m. And then you can't ask your guys to rest for 3 hours and then start bag skating at 10 a.m.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
So it's just interesting. But the other factor into it too is something I'm curious to get your guys' opinion on. So for the majority of people who are watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, they got to, if they watched Game 1, they got to see something that they've never seen in their lifetime, which is an old NHL tradition that was brought back this year. And I'm curious to see what you guys think of it.
All right.
For the first time since the 60s, the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs it started off with the red carpet to the center ice, and on a podium was the Stanley Cup trophy. And, you know, showing, you know, this is what you guys are fighting for, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time since the 60s that the Stanley Cup has made an appearance at a game before a potential game winning, like series win. So it's first time it's been like in like the area of the players. There was one, I think, a couple years ago where it was in the stadium, but it wasn't like featured anywhere, kind of thing.
It was also almost late last year.
Huh?
It was also almost late last year.
Yeah. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think it diminishes the aura of it, seeing it beforehand?
A little bit. I mean, there's no real reason for it to be there yet, at least. Unless, are they doing like a red carpet thing and it's just on the ice and that's the only thing they're doing with it?
Yeah, it's just on the ice, and then it's just there as like a presentation of like this is what it's all about, kind of thing. And then this,
I think if you do that for Game 1, it's a little bit different. But for Game 2,
no, they did it for Game 1.
Oh, I thought that you said they did it tonight.
No, they did it the first game of the series.
I'm more okay with it now than I was before. I misunderstood that.
Now, this is something that you said they used to do, and
Correct. They used to do this. They did it for like 50 years, and then they just stopped doing it in like the 60s.
Huh. I mean, I guess in that regard, I kind of like it. I mean, I'd like to know why they stopped it, or they just did it because. I don't know. I mean, I kind of, it's something like, hey, listen, this is, what you guys are playing for. They do a little like ceremony, knowing that it's going to go a minimum of 4 games. I just because I feel like,
and it's not at every game. It's not at the game time.
Right. Because, like, we'll just use the NFL for example, because everything has got to be a pageant with them. Before, like, the Super Bowl, you see like the Lombardi trophies like featured every 10 seconds, and they then, like, when the game is over, the trophy like makes this long march from wherever with like the commissioner and somebody else. Like, I think that's fine to have the Stanley Cup showcased at the beginning of the finals. There's like, I'm sure there's a certain amount of more class that is done to present it.
What do you think, Paul?
I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent either way, honestly. I don't think it diminishes it. I think it's kind of like a cool little like celebration of like you guys, like, you're the 2 teams that made it here, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, I don't really have a problem with it, especially because it's a series and you're not going to see it again until you win it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's also the best trophy in sports.
Like, it would be weird if, like, after the game 1 they show it, and then it's just like in this glass box through every game, and like in the cam crews they keep like panning over it, like, to it. Like, that would be dumb. But I'm sure like there's like white glove type service, for it.
More so than any other trophy in sports.
I tell you, what's a really so this led me to like a deep dive down like different like traditions and histories of all the different sports, the trophies and all that stuff. And I never knew that the World Series trophy was called the Commissioner's Trophy.
No,
I didn't know that. I just thought it was the World Series trophy. I didn't know it had a fucking name.
That's fair.
But like
it barely has a name.
Something like I never really paid attention to. But like, did you know that that in 2017 when the Houston Astros beat the Dodgers in the World Series, that was the first year they started presenting the trophy on the field?
I didn't know that.
I did not know.
Prior to that, it was always presented to the team in the locker room after the game.
Huh. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I thought that was so weird. I'm like sitting here like, no, there had to have been in 2005, like the White Sox were holding it on the field, and I went and tried to find pictures, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, they're after the game is over, I mean, they're on the field celebrating for a while before they end up going to the locker room.
Yeah, but the trophy was not. It didn't start circulating on the field until 2017.
It's interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I would have gone my entire life not knowing that.
Tell you what I love is...
Sorry. I was wrong. My bad. In 2017 was when it started no matter what. In 97, if the home team won, they got it. But prior to 97, it was always in the locker room no matter what. So like in 2005, if I remember correctly, I think in 2005, I don't think the White Sox represented it because I think they won it in Houston.
You'd have to go back and look to see. It was. I think the Royals were in New York when they beat the Mets.
Yep.
curious to know about like the Philadelphia Yankees series.
It's kind of like interesting to think about.
I tell you
It's
what
like a
I'm
weird
a big fan of is watching Chuck be on the broadcast for this and try and talk about hockey is pretty great.
He's awesome.
Big fan of it.
Yeah, because I think the White Sox swept the Astros, right, Kendall?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Didn't they like sweep their way almost? Like I think they lost one game to the Angels.
I think so. Like in recent memory, I think the White Sox swept, and I think whoever played the Rockies, which I can't remember now, they swept the Rockies. I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, why can't I remember? Yeah, I'm fairly certain Chicago swept, and I think you're right. I think they swept twice.
It was pretty cool because I remember that one because I thought that was a really cool like tidbit like thing. It's like it's one of those dumb stats where it's like you have to like look into it to like find it kind of thing. But it was pretty cool because having a team name be the White Sox or the Red Sox, like that's like kind of like a weird lameish type of name. Even if you know the history behind it and everything like that, it just sounds lame to like the average person.
Yeah.
But in 04 and 05, you had back-to-back different colored Sox championships. And they both ended their 100-year curses.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
I saw this thing, Paul, and I was trying to send it to you on Instagram, and then something happened, and I like clicked away, and I lost it. But it was some like Cubs fan page, and they were poking fun at the White Sox. And I don't know if you saw this story. It took me totally by surprise. It was something like it said X amount of days without someone sneaking a concealed weapon in the folds of their fat, and it said Cubs never, White Sox 264 days, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah, somebody snuck a blade in underneath their like stomach roll.
It's like unbelievable.
Sounds like something I would do.
Your stomach roll's not big enough, Mass.
I beg to differ.
Your stomach roll is not big enough to bring a 12-inch hunting blade into a stadium.
I just can't believe it got.
It's not, Massey.
Does anybody have one?
You can do the cute all you want. It's not even close to big enough.
Does anybody have one we can test this with?
Yeah, just go get your 12-inch chef's knife in your kitchen.
Yeah, but that's sharp. That could cut me.
Yeah, and the hunting blade that's used to cut through bear hide isn't sharp at all.
Oh.
I can't believe the metal detectors didn't pick that up. Like, come on.
What metal detectors? What metal detectors have you ever been through when you went to a game?
Don't we have to walk through metal detectors?
Yankees Stadium has metal detectors.
That's because it's the Bronx. No, the Phillies don't have one. They kind of do that thing where they just wave their hands over you like you're saying Avada Kedavra and pass you through.
Feeling up the women. Oh, it's funny.
So, I haven't really been keeping up with a lot of baseball at all this year because my team is so dog shit, but I traditionally don't really keep up with a lot of baseball outside of the White Sox, Mets, and Phillies, and really only the Mets and Phillies is just because of talking to Kendall and Kyle because they're avid baseball watchers. But what happened with Toronto?
As far as
Well, so Toronto is a sub. I mean, they were just a year ago. They were They were like a dark horse favorite to win the AL East. They're a sub 500 team right now. I think they're like 32 and 34 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's actual legitimate talks about them like selling Bo Bichette and Vlad Guerrero and burning it down before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't know. I think one thing I will say, and though the schedule is a little bit different than because they changed it, but Boston has kind of exceeded expectations a little bit. They're performing a lot better. Toronto, I don't really know what the answer is. It's just like I think Baltimore is playing, the baseball kind of as expected. Maybe they've cooled off a little from last year, but you're right. Toronto was a team that definitely like in the conversation
Yeah.
of like, hey, these guys can contend for the AL East. It's weird.
Yeah.
I I think what I will say is it would be more telling like what that team was really about if it was the old way of how the schedule was. I think there'd be a lot more like I take a
You mean
little
when
bit
mom
less.
and dad were making it in their basement?
What's that?
No, you mean when mom and dad were making it in their basement?
Yeah. I just think I take a little bit less stock in how teams are performing now since everybody plays each other and they play each other twice and it's just like the it's just kind of random. All right, so the White Sox are playing the Mets in June and they'll play again in late August. Like I feel like it more than ever when teams get hot, they are going to really prey on the bad teams because there's not going to be those series where the Mets will play 3 games in Washington, then they'll face the Braves at home, then they'll face the Phillies at home, then they'll face another one versus the Nationals again. Like there won't be like those blocks where you're facing hot teams and cold teams. It's just everything is more broken up.
Well, it's June 10th today.
Yes.
Yeah, the Nationals have already played more than 2/3 of their games against the Braves this season.
Yeah.
Because they play 6 less games against them every year now. 2 less series.
And from the sounds of it, it's been front loaded.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about it in depth. I don't like it.
No, I hate it. I think I understand what they're doing when you have players like Shohei Ohtani that you want to give every market the ability to sell tickets,
right,
and have individual TV deals, like have great ratings because Shohei Ohtani is coming to your team to play a series. I totally get that, but baseball, unlike all of the other major sports in America, is a regional sport. It's not a national sport. There are less than a handful of teams in the MLB that are national. There just are. The Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and then the Phillies, I would say would probably be the 4 that you could argue. I mean, the Yankees and Dodgers for sure.
Yep.
The Mets because it's New York, and then the Phillies are just kind of like that team that's always kind of just like in the news for stuff, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything else, I mean, like, and then the Cubs. I'll give the Cubs the nod. They're a national team. But like the White Sox are, and the Mets, they share the same similarities. They're the national version of they're the regional version of their national counterpart.
Right.
I mean, like the Boston Red Sox, they're a huge team because we live in New England, but they're not a national team.
Yeah, no, they don't carry the same weight that the Yankees do.
No, it's a regional sport. And for the regional sport aspect, you care about beating those guys. It's 162 games. Nothing that happens on June 10th is going to determine the outcome of your season. But beating the Atlanta Braves as a New York Mets fan on June 10th is everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, so like, especially like for historically kind of like we'll call bad teams, like those are like your World Series moments. It's like to beat your longtime rival, the team that's been better than you in almost every category for so long. Like,
well, and the other thing too is like you lose from an East Coast standpoint, which is what baffles me even more, because everything in the sports world runs off of Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Everything does. And what kind of baffles me is like you're kind of like reducing some viewership, because like if you're a Mets fan, now all of a sudden because of this new schedule, your team is gonna fucking play the I don't know who's the Angels. They're gonna play the Angels in LA. It's a 10 o'clock start. I gotta be up for work at 6. I'm not watching this. I don't give a fuck about this game. You know what I mean? Like it adds so many more games to the repertoire of like things that are just you can't watch, or vice versa. You're an Angels fan in LA and they're playing the Marlins, and it's a fucking day game, and so it starts at fucking 10 a.m. where you are.
Yeah. I mean,
and it makes sense from the only point it has to, which is money. But it was a real, in my opinion, it was a real step backwards, and to me a huge step backwards from a lot of really good positive steps forward the league made to improve the product with the pitch clock and the checking the runner at first and all that stuff. Like those were all great things. They sped the game up. Its pace of play has been great, and then they did this thing, and it's lesser because the people that you're getting and more involved is like the person who lives in Miami, who's not a big baseball fan and doesn't really follow the Marlins at all, but they're like, oh, Shohei Ohtani's coming, so let's just go buy a ticket. And it's like, yeah, like you got that extra ticket, but like you got it for a one-time view only.
Right. A guy who's going to come, stay to the seventh inning, eat some cotton candy, and be home before the game is over.
Right, at the expense of the 4 games worth of Atlanta Braves fans that drove down to Miami to watch the whole series.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that would happen all the time. In Chicago, the White Sox, if they would play the Indians for a 4-game series, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there would be tons of fans that would come down for the weekend to watch 2 or 3 of the games. Because it was a 2-3 hour drive. Yeah. And you get a hotel on the outskirts of the city, and you take a train into the city and watch the games. See your team play. And it was like a fun thing you could do. Now you can't do that because now, for whatever reason, because some suit made the decision, now instead of going to take a train there, you'd have to take a flight to San Diego to watch them play the Padres.
Yeah.
On today's episode of Who Gives a Fuck.
Right. And, for me, I liked the rarity of stuff. Like, for example, like the Mets and White Sox would only play each other every once in a great while. Just the way the scheduling.
Every 3 years.
And so like it made it cool for like, oh, and the guys who've been on the team for a long time, like, oh, this guy's actually faced this guy before, and he's 3 for 17 against him, and like.
Well, and the other thing it did too was it was a very high percentage chance that you were going to have 2 teams that had never seen each other in the World Series.
Yeah, right.
You were going to have 2 teams that had minimal amounts of players that had experience against the other team's players in the World Series, and it made the game a lot more interesting because you've never seen their stuff. Now, if the Mets play against the Dodgers in the World Series, there is a extremely good chance that 1 through 9 on the Mets has seen the best that starting rotation has to offer.
100%. It's too bad.
Fucking spare parts.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
There was something. Oh, so I think we've talked about this before too, but this was another thing I was thinking about today. So I think we've talked about this from the NFL standpoint, but I'll bring it up anyway, just so you guys can try to guess. Another trivia question that you and Massey can collaborate on if you want. So they did the same type of poll in the NFL and the MLB amongst players anonymously, but they asked different questions, but of the same type of poll. So this one went around, I think, a couple of years ago for the NFL, where they asked X amount of players which NFL organization is the worst in terms of player amenities.
They do this. They've done this the last 2 years,
and they talk about the showers, the weight room, the locker room, the food, bunks, training camp setups, all that stuff. they did something very similar this year for the MLB, but instead of talking about the amenities, they just talked about the organization as a whole, the culture around the team. And so I was curious if you guys wanted to take a stab at the two who finished 31st and 32nd in the NFL one most recently, and who finished 29th and 30th in the MLB.
Well, for like overall for the NFL, because like you said, they do a shit ton of stuff.
Well, the NFL one is based on the facilities one, so like all the amenities, like like I said, the locker room, the showers, the weight room, the all that stuff. Like,
But like all those aggregated into an overall score for them is what you're asking for, not a specific factor.
like who ranked the worst?
Paul, there's 18 things they asked these guys. Are you asking overall or
It's
one
the
specific thing?
overall amenities.
Okay.
That's what I said. I said it like 4 times.
The Chiefs ranked one of the 2 worst. I know
Oh.
that.
Don't make me come over there and put a fucking hunter's knife in your belly flap.
The Chiefs were one of the 2 worst for the NFL. I know that.
I feel like
I mean, the NFL should be obvious.
Then the Commanders.
I want to say the Browns.
No, the Browns I actually think did somewhat decently.
Yeah.
I know the Steelers have bad weight rooms.
Yeah, the Steelers were on that list.
Hmm.
They weren't 30th or 30. They weren't 31st or 32nd, but they were on the list. Massey got it. It's the Commanders. The Bengals finished in the bottom. The Steelers finished in the bottom. The Patriots and the Falcons, but it was the Chiefs were 31st, and the Commanders were 32nd.
We also finished pretty terribly.
It's interesting. It's the
Like,
teams
I
that you
think
don't
we were
think.
in the bottom third.
The MLB should be pretty. The worst should be pretty obvious.
Yeah, athletics.
Yeah, the Athletics are the worst because the baseball one was based around culture, not about facilities. But it was based around like what's the culture around the ball, the ball club. What the communication between management and players, the desire to win, the effort and backings put into the program.
I don't think the White Sox were bottom 2, but I think they were in the bottom like 4.
What about
They were 29th.
Oh, were they really?
The White Sox were second.
So I was going to come out and just be, oh, Detroit's got to be.
So they pulled a very small amount of players. I think it was like 80 something MLB players that have been around the league and been in like multiple clubhouses,
Mm-hmm.
and also like know like our friends with players that have done the same thing. So that players talk all the time. And of the 80 something players that were surveyed, 17 of them said if the Oakland Athletics weren't so cheap, it wouldn't even be close because the White Sox are the most poorly run sports organization in America.
Oof.
Yeah, it's Jerry Reinsdorf for you. Cares more about the price of a s'mores milkshake than he does about putting a winning ball club on the team or on the field. And that's why the Bulls and the White Sox will be bad forever.
Well, he tries harder for the Bulls than he does the White Sox.
No, he doesn't. He just puts names on the court that people will come see. That's all he does. He doesn't try harder. Look at the fucking Bulls. Look at the Bulls right now, and then look at the Celtics in the finals. The Bulls' best player, in terms of like overall rating, which would be like athleticism, age, all that stuff. Their best player, like when healthy, is Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine wouldn't even be a starter on the Celtics team. He would be the 8th best player on that team. The Chicago Bulls, a global icon of basketball, behind only the Celtics and the Lakers. who have won a combined 38 NBA championships or whatever it is. The Chicago Bulls, their best player would be maybe 7th in rotation on the Celtics right now. That's fucking terrible.
I don't know. I didn't realize that he owned both franchises. Or if I did, I didn't remember.
Yeah, he owns both. That's why they're both on the NBC Sports Network and all that shit, which is, I guess, getting shut down now.
McCaskey's just own the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
Who owns the Cubs? Just somebody random?
No, it's not a random guy.
John Ricketts.
Bartman.
Is that who it is?
Joe Ricketts, yep.
Yeah.
What about the Blackhawks? Who's their owner? See, no, I'm interested. I didn't realize that he had both.
The Ricketts family owns the Cubs, but I believe it's Tom. Tom Ricketts is the guy who's like the actual like operations manager guy. Like he's the guy that makes decisions.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep.
And then the Wirtz family owns
The Blackhawks is Danny Wirtz.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, that'd be a real bummer from like a broadcasting standpoint to kind of like lose that. Like we talked about it before, like that localization of markets in like TV deals and in radio, because that's what, like, I don't know, that's part of it. It's like you tune in to, you see your guys, you like there's commentators you like, there's commentators you might not like, but it's like that those are your guys, and it's like, oh, we're just gonna make this one national syndicated nonsense where some random guy who's the 17th guy on the roster for ESPN is going to call this game. I don't know. It's annoying.
Somebody would pick up the White Sox.
Well, the White Sox would be packaged with the Bulls. Because they're owned by the same guy. So it would be the same contract.
Yeah, like some network would pick him up.
Well, no, they already are.
Didn't you say this NBC is dropping them or something?
Well, Chicago Sports Network. So no, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the White Sox are all leaving NBC Sports Chicago.
Okay.
They're going to a new channel, a new thing. It's just going to be called the Chicago Sports Network, and I don't know anything about this. Kendall might. He has a better knowledge of these types of things. But it's something called the Standard Media Group.
So, I mean, look, if the big companies like the NBCs, the CBSs, and Fox of the world had their way, and they were like in bed sort of the same way they were with the NFL, there would just be like a set amount of broadcasters, that very, very small number, that did basically all the games are enough to cover all the games that are on, and that'd be it, because they have to spend more money when they farm it out to individual networks. Like, the YES Network is owned by somebody who's owned by somebody who's owned by the Paramount of the world and whatnot. But if
the Mets on,
the Mets are on SNY, and I can't remember who owns SNY.
That's something that's always been so like wild to me. Is that the Mets, the Yankees, and the Knicks/Rangers all are on different channels.
Yeah,
Sterling Entertainment Enterprises.
It's weird that he's like, what am I trying to say? The YES Network existed first, I'm pretty sure, and then they created SNY to be the Mets channel, and then YES kind of carries the New Jersey Devils games, I'm pretty sure, and like
I know they do the Brooklyn Nets games.
Yes, and SNY I think may do No, I think MSG does the Rangers. I'm pretty sure. I think
MSG does Rangers and Knicks.
Knicks. So SNY might only play for professional sports. The Mets, they do college games. Like I know they had the UConn women for a hot minute. I don't know if they still do.
They do Jets preseason games.
Yeah, but I kind of call that a wash because I feel like if we wanted to, we could broadcast a preseason game for anybody. You know, they just kind of feel that out. But sorry, whatever my high horse. It's a shame that like I don't know, just like a lot of cool things in sports. If they like we say, money rules all. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Very annoying.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with hockey. I'm just curious because, like, I'm surprised that NBC Sports Chicago, for example, like that's got to be like a huge blow to losing like an original six team like the Blackhawks. Despite if they're bad or not, they still get viewership when NBC is, you know, quote unquote, the home of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Right. Like that doesn't make any
sense. So
sense.
It's just kind of like interesting from that standpoint, you know. You know, ESPN keeps talking like they're going to get more involved in the hockey game on there, right?
Yeah, it only took them forever to kind of get involved.
Yeah, I mean,
did it do well on ESPN?
I mean, yes and no. Part of the allure, honestly, of the hockey thing was that it was on a nationally syndicated program. If it was nationally broadcasted, it was on NBC. You could get it anywhere.
Yeah,
you didn't have to pay for premium cable. You know, it's like the NFL. Like, you know, like nobody has to have cable to get the NFL, except for the Thursday night games and the Monday night games now. Which was, you know, if you remember, that was a huge deal when they went from, what were they on originally?
ABC.
When they went from ABC to ESPN, that was a huge deal because a lot of people were like, oh, fuck, I have to like buy cable now or go somewhere to watch the game. Because ABC, you could get with Bunny, you could get with Rabbit Ears.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. Fox and CBS, you can get with Rabbit Ears. You don't have to have cable to get football. You have to now for the Thursday games, you don't have to have cable anymore. You just got to have fucking, you know, you got to duck Jeff Bezos off. And then Mondays, you have to have cable now or streaming.
Well, so before I had Apollo, I actually went and bought a satellite, like just a very basic, you know, Dad installed it on the roof. It's still up there. And that's how I attempted to watch the games on Sundays. And it sort of worked, but like, you know, it's like anything, like, you know, if there was, you know, weather conditions that were unfavorable or whatever, it's like, then you're kind of missing out. But it's like, I still at least had the option, which was nice.
Yeah. I would just listen to them on the radio.
I've done that.
I can't. I could never get myself to pay the price of cable for just to watch sports. Could never do it.
No.
I'll spend $25 a month to watch all the baseball games.
But see,
but that's not cable.
No, I'm agreeing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but for you, for example, like you would be if today's day and age is totally different. But if, you know, 15 years ago, if your only option was to get cable and have the premium MLB package network channel and pay $110 a month for cable plus the additional $30 a month for the MLB package, and that was the only way you could get the Phillies games, you were going to spend $145 a month on cable.
Yeah, I would have.
I would never do that. I just wouldn't. I would find different ways to like I don't need to like the only sport that I can't the only sport that I would need to have some sort of audio or visual for would be hockey. Watching it on a sportscast is like obnoxious because there are stretches of time that nothing happens, like in terms of like a hit or like a statistical recording, where it's just passing in offensive zones and defensive breakups and things like that. But like if push came to shove, I could just fucking put on the ESPN app on my phone and just watch the game cast of the Bears game every week.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Kyle definitely falls into the minority of people like for him to own the like the MLB package is a worthwhile thing for him because he cares about the other teams and he's going to watch those games, you know, and I think it would make sense for you more than a lot of people, like, you know, for that what that's offered for and stuff like that.
Is the NFL doing the thing yet where you can subscribe to just your team?
I don't know. I don't think so. Is it?
I know last year they didn't do it.
Yeah. Does the MLB do it?
You can, yeah. It's cheaper.
Yeah. I know the NHL was like the first ones to do that. They did that like 10 years ago. You could pay, it was like $140 or $150, whatever it was for the year, to get all the NHL games except for national blackouts. Or you could pay, I think it was like $80 for the year, and you would just get your team. And it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, of course it's worth it to spend the $60 extra to be able to watch every game. But if you don't care about the rest of the games, save yourself $60 and just watch all your team games.
Right.
And if you root for a team like if you're, for example, if you live in fucking Virginia and you're a Coyotes fan, what are you going to lose out on? 3 nationally broadcasted games a year?
Yeah, save the money, order a couple pizzas.
Like, it's not much. Like, for baseball, it was only like a 5-hour difference.
I think, yeah, for baseball, I don't think it makes a difference because there's, I mean, percentage-wise, well, just no, the percentage of your team's games that are going to be on a national broadcast are minimum. Because there just isn't a lot of it because it's not a national sport. It's a regional sport. I don't think football will ever do it just because doesn't like, what is it, like only like 2 or 3 teams a year max don't have a nationally broadcasted game, like a primetime game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely try their hardest to get everybody. Like,
well, I think
action.
Now with Thursday night, with how long they do Thursday night football, I think everybody plays a quote unquote primetime game now.
Yeah.
The only one this year that doesn't is the Panthers.
The Panthers don't have anything.
That's what I've read.
Don't worry,
it's interesting to see too what they deem as a primetime game. That's something that I've always kind of been interested by too, just from the standpoint of like, I feel like if you're not playing at 1 or 4, it's a primetime game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
So, I was listening to the Kelsey podcast, and they were kind of talking about this. So the Netflix game is not deemed primetime. They're calling it primetime because they're the only game on. But they don't call it a primetime game.
Right. So, I mean, the Panthers, quote unquote, don't have a primetime game, but they do have a primetime game.
What do they play?
They're playing in Germany against the Giants at 9 a.m. on a Sunday.
Okay.
So, like, it's not. To me, primetime is if nobody else is playing, you're in a primetime slot. Because football is the only sport in America that the population of the masses is a slave to. And if there's a game on, it's being watched.
Right.
Even if it's not being paid attention to, it's on. You know what I mean? Somebody somewhere on November 10th of 2024 at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time is going to be enjoying a breakfast buffet at a strip club watching the Giants and Panthers. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be on. Like people are going to watch it.
I mean, I'll watch it.
And you'll be at the strip club with me.
I will See, to me, this is how I think it should be. I think the London games and the European games, those are the teams that should play. Like the Giants and the Panthers. It's such a minimal risk to the fantasy football world. Because if your fantasy week is determined by you forgetting to take out or put in a starting player from one of those two teams, you're cooked anyway. If you're starting someone from one of those two teams, you're shot. The only start that week would probably be Giants defense.
Some random running back will go off.
No, they won't.
Somebody like Kendall will have Devin Singletary on his bench, and it'll be a bye week.
Don't worry. He'll score a touchdown on 2 carries.
I just don't understand how they can't say that that's a primetime game. You kidding me? We're going all the way to Germany for Brian Burns' revenge game? Mass thoughts?
Like the Kelce's were saying, like those are primetime games. Even if the NFL doesn't want to call it that.
I mean, here's the thing: Giants and Panthers. I don't want to call that primetime either. That's more of like a hey, somebody had to play.
It's a time
Mass, are you
filler.
there?
Yep.
Mass?
I'm here.
Mass?
What?
Hi.
Hi.
Kyle, Massey was yelling at me earlier.
Was it because he broke his finger?
No, it was because he was being mean.
I still don't understand how it happened.
He threw a disc. He was holding it wrong, and it popped his finger weird.
No, I just let go of it weird.
And then he cracked it really loud.
Cracking it really loud actually made it feel a little bit better.
How's it feeling today?
It's still pretty swollen, but
You putting ice on it?
Yep.
You taking Tylenol?
It doesn't really hurt that bad.
No, but you need anti-inflammatory if it's swollen.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm saying, yeah. If it's inflamed, you want to anti-inflame.
Maybe
Kendall, can you tell him you're an amateur doctor?
An anti-inflammatory would be very beneficial to your recovery.
Bingo.
You can also double down on that tequila. That'll help.
Yeah.
Doctor of Thugonomics over here knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Word life.
Hey, Kyle.
Yo.
I asked them a trivia question earlier. Do you want to take a quick stab at it? I'll give you a couple seconds.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, don't help him.
Yep.
So 3 players, and you just get 3. You got to make 3 guesses. I'm not going to tell you right or wrong. You just submit an answer. 3 players in NBA history have recorded 3 or more triple doubles in the NBA Finals. Can you name them?
We'll go with Stockton. Jordan and Wilt.
0 for 3.
Damn.
LeBron, Magic, and Draymond.
Yeah. It should have been more obvious.
I do like the Stockton guess though, because that's like a dark horse one. He definitely could have had 3 games where he got 10 steals each.
I thought Wilt would have got like 20 rebounds and blocks.
Yeah, but the thing was, is like I don't think Wilt played in that many. How many championships does he have?
Wilt?
Yeah,
I bet for like 2 at least.
that's what I'm saying. Though. Like I don't think he's.
Let me see where Wilt is.
Yeah, he's only a 2-time. He's only a 2-time NBA champion.
But he has 2 triple doubles.
He's 2, but he doesn't have 3.
Right.
But like he didn't play in the. I mean, LeBron's played in fucking 12,000 finals.
Wilt played in 35 games in the finals.
That's not true.
LeBron should have been more obvious.
How does that make any sense, Mass?
This is games played, right? Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain, 35 games played in the finals.
But I mean,
he's just a 2-time champion.
Right.
That's right. Okay, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. He wasn't that good. That's what I come down to.
I mean, Stockton went to 2, so kind of a bad guess.
No, Stockton was a good like dark horse guess because I wasn't asking you the question. If the answer was LeBron, Magic, and Jordan, I wouldn't have asked the question. Like there had to have been a dark horse guy in it, like Draymond Green. You know, somebody who got 3 triple doubles, and then all 3 of them probably only scored a combined 34 points.
Facts.
So yeah,
Stockton was a weird dude.
yeah, he was, but he's got the 2 most like untouchable records in NBA history. So
Yeah, his son sucked.
yes, he did.
What were the 2 records? Assists and
Steals. No one's ever going to touch his steals record.
Mm.
It's funny. Everyone always talks about the 100 points in the game for Wilt, but I think like I do think that's top 5 in terms of like unbreakable records for like not deep diving into hardcore records like most consecutive field goals made, you know, without taking a free throw or some bullshit like that. But like just hardcore, which is raw stats. The 100 in a game is top 5, but I think at best it's 4th. I don't think anyone's ever going to touch Stockton's assist record. I don't think anyone's ever going to touch Stockton's steals record. And I don't think anyone's ever going to touch Scott Skiles' assists in a game.
how many did you have in a game?
I think he had 30.
Jesus.
Oh my
Was
God.
it 30?
I think he cracked 30. Scott Skiles, future terrible head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
And Magic.
Yeah, no, he was a good coach for the Magic.
He was a good coach for the Bucks.
He was a bad coach for the Bulls. He was also a bad 76er.
Yeah, it's usually how that goes.
Yeah. I think he was a Magic when he set the record.
Yeah. All you do is throw lobs to Shaq if that was the same team.
It definitely wasn't because he played for the Magic in the 80s.
Were they around in the 80s?
Huh?
I didn't know they were around that early.
The Magic?
Yeah, I thought they came in like 1990s.
No. He was 89.
So we're both kind of right.
No, I'm right.
You're wrong.
I will kill you, Kyle.
It's fair.
Oh, speaking of killing you, we also have another thoughts to weigh in question of the day. Massey thinks that he's fat enough to fit a 12-inch like hunting knife under his belly flap and it wouldn't be obvious. I disagree.
Max, you're not that fat.
That's what I'm saying. Like a 12-inch hunting knife is like the size of my fucking shoe.
Yeah, you'd have to have a pretty low hanging belly, I think, to pull it off.
I could do it.
No, you could not.
Matthew, you're not long fat, dude.
I love he's arguing for this.
We're not.
I embrace it.
We wouldn't be dating if we were long fat.
This is true.
True.
I hadn't considered that, Kyle. Thank you.
Very true. Kyle, good for you for picking up his confidence.
Got you. It's my job.
Yeah. Massey, do you have anything you'd like to say to Kyle?
Love you, boo.
Live you.
Mm.
Did you guys see that Buster Olney's account got hacked today?
No.
So funny. They were just.
What happened?
Let me read you some of them. So some guy hacked his account and started just busting out rumors. Shohei Ohtani has been banned for life from the MLB in connection to charges with gambling. His trial is on August 28th. It is speculated he could get life in prison. The New York Mets are finalizing a deal that will send Francisco Lindor to the Oakland Athletics. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Chicago White Sox are finalizing a deal that will send star outfielder Luis Robert to Philadelphia. and then he posted his password. Password is Buster, capital O, $, $, 25 exclamation point.
It's a weird password.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even, like, subtle in the ways you'd want it to be.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, speaking of baseball, we were talking about this earlier, too. What happened to the Blue Jays, you know? Because, like, they were, like, dark horse AL East, like, contenders, and now they're looking to get rid of Vlad Guerrero and Bo Bichette.
A lot of it has to do with their pitching. Goldsman's ERA is in the fives. Bassett's ERA in the fives. Their closer's blown like 3 or 4 saves.
Look, I get that, but you're talking about getting rid of 1.5, because I'm not going to say Bo Bichette is a full one, but you're talking about getting rid of 1.5 generational talents because of a bad year.
Yeah, so they designated Kevin Biggio for assignment. Guerrero has not hit for power. Bo struggled hard in the beginning of the year. Like their outfield, Springer, Varsho, and Kiermaier all batting like 220. Alejandro Kirk's batting like 190. There's been a lot of disappointments.
It's pretty wild to have that happen.
Like Guerrero's average is good. He's batting above 300, but he only has 7 home runs. He's been hitting a lot of singles. And that's not what they need from him.
Right.
Dylan Cease just got taken yard.
Good.
Haha, Kendall.
Not cool, man. And those guys you mentioned are also on my fantasy team.
Yeah, no.
I got a lot of Blue Jays.
And they all went over today.
Appreciate it.
I've been seeing that lately, though. Luis Robert, the Philly.
A lot of people think for some reason he's going to go to the Cubs.
Here's the thing: the White Sox want a lot for him. So it's like, how much are you willing to spend for him? Because of his injury history.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. He's very talented, but he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, he sucks.
He doesn't suck.
He does suck.
Yeah.
The best ability is availability. If you're not available, everything else is trash.
This is true.
That's why
Like,
Mike
you're talking
Trout's a
about
bottom
Phillies.
5 player in MLB history.
From the well, the White Sox are bringing up the kid they just got from the Padres. That's exciting. Top 50 prospect in all baseball.
Yeah, that's really going to turn their season around, I think.
No,
They might get 31 wins this year now.
it's exciting.
It's not exciting.
Dylan Cease getting rocked.
Good. All right, well, I think we're about out of time.
Sorry that I was late.
No, glad you made it.
Yeah, Kendall has a draft for us to do real quick, and then we'll sign off.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
Kendall wasn't prepared for this.
No, I was not. I could come up with something real quick. Okay. All right. We're going to be drafting items you can get on the checkout line at a grocery store.
Okay.
We can argue if somebody wants to draft something that we don't feel would be in that area. Doesn't have to be brand specific. Just can be if you want, but
I think it has to. I think it has to be brand specific, just because that way no one takes soda.
Okay. All right.
Or chocolate.
All right. Deal.
Right.
Deal. Brand specific is important.
Because then the draft is over.
You don't have to be brand specific for some stuff, like reusable shopping bags.
Sure.
But you can't just take all of the candy bars.
Right.
All right, so what's the random order that you're going to randomly pick?
Okay. I use randomizer.org. And we have Massey, Paul, me, Kyle.
What was last?
You want to trade?
No, I'm good.
Sure.
I could do it again.
I like my pick.
Kyle, I don't mind giving you the first overall if you want it.
I'm picking Marcotte.
You're picking what?
Marcotte.
Pretty funny, Kyle. Save it for a different group.
I don't even know what Marcotte is.
Just a random MLB guy.
Oh.
He's a manager for the Athletics.
This isn't everywhere, but like, are we saying just strictly grocery stores or any stores?
My thinking would be grocery stores. Like, you know how like ocean. Well, that's not a good example either. Like
Okay, so that's a good question. Do stores with groceries in them count?
yes, like you know, like stores like a Burlington Coat Factory, like have like nonsense on the way to their house. Not
Okay.
that type of place. Like a
Okay.
regular.
Target and Walmart both have Pokemon cards in their checkout aisles, so I'm going to take that.
All right, good pick.
Nerd.
Yeah, but that's why you love me.
That's true.
Who's up
Am I up?
next?
Paul's up.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the 20-ounce Pessy.
Good pick. Good pick. Started being lame, but I was kind of going the same thought process. I'm taking the 20-ounce conch.
It's a pretty big cock. Souls? Nope. Did Souls step away?
Oh, he texted. What
Oh,
is
all
it?
right. So Souls is taking Resses and Mountain Dew.
And he didn't specify which Resses. Should we like pick like a bad one for him, like the Nutrageous bar?
No,
So funny.
So he gets the cups.
he gets the cups.
All right.
Oh no, he said Reese's sticks.
Well, we gave him the cups.
He said sticks. I say we give it to him.
Well, you know,
All right.
to be fair, I feel like we got to take the cups anyways. I mean, unless you guys have seen sticks on the way out.
I mean, I don't traditionally see sticks in any like grocery stores or anything. Like
I mean-
it's more generic.
I got sticks at Stop and Shop last week.
Oh,
No, he didn't. He's lying to you, Matt Kendall.
all right. See, I don't know what the best brand is. I'm gonna gamble here. I'm gonna take the Orbit peppermint gum.
Ew.
See, I don't know what good gum brands are.
No, Orbit's fine. I don't mind Orbit.
It's not the brand. It's just spearmint over everything.
Spearmint over peppermint?
Yeah.
Really?
I am with Paul on this one. Sorry, Ken.
Huh. I just would have figured peppermint would have been the way to go.
Nope. No. I'm gonna go ahead here and take the. Well, no, sorry, it's Paul's turn. I forgot that Kendall was third.
This might not be a popular pick, but the only place I ever purchase these is at the grocery store. And it's not common, but whenever I purchase them, I'm happy I did. I'm gonna take the Tic Tac.
Good pick.
You know, that is actually what I was gonna take with my third pick. So, it's a
Do you
good pick.
Preferred flavor?
Orange.
The orange ones.
Yeah. Good pick.
Always the orange. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Russ's king size PB cup. And give me the Snickers here.
Snickers, nice. Back to me.
Back
Yes.
to you.
I'm gonna take the snack size bag of sour cream and cheddar Ruffles.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good chip. I like those. All right. I'm gonna take perhaps my all-time favorite. I'm gonna take the Twix bar here.
I was hoping the Twix was going to come back around, but back to you, Souls. Dog pissed on the bed is just one of those things.
Kyle's gonna take urine cleaner here.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm taking Orbit mint gum.
No, you're not.
It already got picked.
Kendall picked that.
That's amazing.
Well, hold on. There's peppermint and then there's mint.
Oh, that's true.
Are they
No,
two
I'll
different
take-
flavors?
I'll take the Altoids.
All right, that's a
Alright.
good pick. And then
Take
you're back to
Altoids.
back.
There's something about
And then
that
I'll take-
tin.
Then I'll take Doritos nacho cheese.
All right,
I don't
Kendall,
know.
back to you.
I didn't see that coming from Kyle. I don't know why.
Because they don't have the barbecue fritters there half the time, so
Yeah, that's true. All right. I'm gonna take the 4-pack of Duracell AA batteries here.
Nice.
off my
There you-
radar.
Is that your real pick?
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, look, everybody needs batteries.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Paul,
Trying to think of other snack.
snacks that smile back.
No, those are terrible. I would never buy those.
Paul's a big goldfish hater.
Hate goldfish. Mm,
You like the idea of goldfish?
no.
You don't love me. You're in love with the idea of goldfish.
It's funny, you know. I'm in a checkout at least. You know, 3-4 times a week, and I can't really think of anything to get. I'm just gonna take I'm just gonna take Trident spearmint gum.
Okay. I'm gonna take Frito-Lay Ranch sunflower seeds and chips. And a grossly underrated candy bar, the Kit Kat.
Good pick.
Good, okay.
That was a good pick.
Good pick, master.
That's it. Kendall, back to me now.
Yes.
Back to me. All right. I have a chip. I have a drink. I have a gum. I guess I need a candy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have a candy,
Gotta have
right?
the candy.
Yeah. Do I go traditional or do I go bougie?
Oh, go bougie.
All right.
Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, give me the 3-pack of Ferrero Rochers.
that's
so
what's coming.
funny.
They're so good. Ferrero Rochers are so fucking
They're
good.
All right.
I can fucking eat those forever.
So I need like a snack item here.
Oh, the cumsicle?
All right. I know Paul's gonna hate this pick, but I kind of like him. I'm gonna go with the pepperoni combo.
Ugh. The worst snack on the planet.
He's a big combo hater. I don't know if he hates more goldfish or combos more.
Combos are the worst.
I don't know. I kind of like him.
Combos are very dry, but they're not bad.
I also like them.
Ugh.
I'm also a sucker for anything pretzel.
They're not pretzels. They're
They can
stale
be.
toenails with powder in them. Ugh.
Well, I
funny.
believe you're finishing us off.
No, I thought I had one more pick. No,
Mm,
did I pick
no.
5 things?
Yeah, we've done 5.
What the hell was my other pick? Oh, I picked Tic Tacs. Forgot I picked Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
All right,
Damn, so I
I'm
didn't
going
need a
with.
candy. Fuck.
I'm going with
I thought I
People's
had one more
Magazine.
pick to pick what I wanted. Damn it.
Where are you taking, Kyle?
Taking People's Magazine.
There you go.
Man, I really wish I knew that. I wish I remembered Tic Tacs. I wouldn't have taken the Ferrero Rocher.
What were you going to take?
I would have taken the crossword book or the like the word search book.
Ah.
I get one of those once a year. Sits in my end table on my couch. I do it when I don't have any shows I want to watch. I just put rules of engagement on and either do word search or Sudoku for like what feels like hours.
I do a lot of word searches.
You know, I can't do them on the phone or anything like that though. I can't do word searches like on the screen.
There's something about it, like, it's just like better visual, and I don't know. Just I feel like you think better.
It's the feel of the book that you know is meant to be by your toilet.
I'm going to do an honorable mention pick. Give me the corn nuts.
Corn
Crossword
nuts.
puzzles are terrible.
What grocery stores are you shopping at?
Cumberland Farms.
Food Line.
It's not a grocery
I
store.
know, it's not.
He's shopping at Food Line.
Massey, where do you do your grocery shopping?
I've been chopped. That's not there. I just wanted to corn nut.
It's funny.
What? I don't even know what corn nuts are.
They're fresh.
That's rude.
Just something that kind of comes in like a metal, like round tin for no reason.
They're in a bag. What do you want about?
They've come in the metal tin, like that
No.
coffee tin. You never seen
No.
that?
I think they do come in that mass if you buy them like in bulk, or not bulk, like a larger size. Or
Yeah,
used to. I know what he's talking about.
Man, we could have picked the plantain. You know, those grocery stores that have tomatoes in their aisles.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, Kyle, go to bed.
All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. Quick beer reviews. Kyle, how's your water?
Great. 930 souls, baby.
There you go. Massey, I don't know what you drank. How was it?
I drank a Paloma. Nice and refreshing.
You drank a boba?
Yeah. No, Paloma.
I thought he said
Oh,
Baluba.
I thought he said a boba, like a boba tea. I was like, what?
I could go for one of those right now.
Kendall, how was whatever you had?
I continued down with my Bell's IPA variety pack. I had the Cold Hearted IPA, also at 7%. Maybe a little bit richer tasting, but other than like a color change, it was pretty much the same beer as the Two Hearted IPA, which I also had for a comparison, and they tasted pretty similar. So, I mean, good, but I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed thus far. I don't know. I guess we'll give it 3.9 out of 5. Would get again. Maybe.
Nice. I had Guinness. 5 out of 5. Will get again.
Prove it.
When I get up to go to the fridge. Real quick before we do where they can find us. Have you guys ever seen those videos where like someone goes to like open up like a bag of treats or like a cake or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, who took my stuff?" And like they're going around the room and like, "No, not me. No, it wasn't me." And then they like show the last person and they have it all over their face.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears, I guess, did one of those for National Donut Day. It was Keenan Allen looking for donuts, and all the
That's
offensive
pretty funny.
linemen kept saying it wasn't them. And then there's just Spice Adams in a bright yellow suit with powdered sugar all over his face.
That's very funny.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, pretty big fan. So yeah, Kendall, where can they find us?
They could find us at Facebook, Getting Sports with Drunk, Twitter and Instagram, GSWD_4.
Make sure you use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's being completely disgusted by the two pretty much locked in MLB expansion cities, or being a Bulls fan.
Like, follow, subscribe. Wherever you listen to podcasts and internet radio shows, we're there. iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. Give us a search.
We're there.
We're out and about.
And write to your local MLB representative and tell them don't pick those cities.
Bingo.
We don't want that. But yeah, we're here.
Right.
We'll be there next week, the week after that, and we'll be off the week after that.
Yep.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah. Until next time, I'm your hostess, Cupcake, the Riddler.
930 Souls.
I'm the Master's Massive.
And the Red of Red Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah.